Okay.
Right. So I'm going to start out with like a little iMovie about my POL and what it is, and then I'm going to go into a keynote that I have. So I'm a superhero for this project, and I'm from Planet Hydroponic, and I'm visiting MPX Academy for 2 years in high school. And then the tasks that I conquered were villains, and I defeated my enemies and learned lessons along the way. So that's what I mainly want to talk about in this PO. And here's just some clips of like what it was like to be in MPX this year so far. Like some of my favorite parts from MPX.
Nice close-up video.
Some videos. Good shots.
Whoops. Oh.
While I'm moving. From what I can hear.
That's about it. And then, so here's my presentation. So there we go. Okay. So like you guys know, I'm Olivia. I want to start off by just saying how incredible MPX has been so far and how much I've learned, because this makes thank you to Ms. Calabro and Mr. Kaneko, because like this year I probably learned more than I learned all middle school, just because like the information stuck with me. Before I learned it, and then it was just for the test, and then I would forget all the information altogether and move on to the next thing we were learning. Well, this year I kind of changed that, and I learned things for real this time. So in the POL that I'm going to be presenting to you guys, I'm going to be talking about the skills I've learned from the beginning of the year leading up to now. So without further ado, here's the presentation. And the first thing I'm going to talk about it was kind of a villain in the beginning, and I turned it into my own superpower, which is called voicing my opinion, and I want to talk about what this means. So in the very beginning of the year, I was kind of shy to like express my own opinion, especially I know we read the book The Odyssey. I didn't like that book, honestly. Like I didn't understand it. I couldn't connect with it in any way that I could, share my opinion about it. And I mean, we do Socratic circles and annotations, and I didn't know what to write about, like, my opinion. I really didn't have one, and then so we started to read some other, we started to read Endangered, and I started to actually get an opinion about the book, and we did some projects where I got my own opinion about how I felt about it. So that was especially annotations, these kind of doing annotations with the book. I started kind of writing like my opinion about things, and that helped, and then also this Socratic circles thing, which was when we would give feedback to each other, it gave me this like incentive to actually try really hard in Socratic circles to come up with good questions. And then the next thing is the Heroes Project. And for this Heroes Project, this was something, I don't know where the picture went, but I felt strongly about. And so who I interviewed for the Heroes Project was this lady named Erin Smith, and she's my musical coach, and she just helped me out a lot with voicing my own opinion and music and stuff like that. And so it kind of gave me something that I felt strongly about to present on. And this is really the first time I started voicing my opinion about something that, I had an opinion on. So I thought that was really important. And next thing I want to talk about, my second villain, is procrastination. And I absolutely hate this because I do it all the time, and I know like everyone in this class mentioned it at some point that they procrastinate, and I do too. But there was 2 things that I realized this year about procrastination: that you can just get the work done and absorb the information, and the whole procrastination thing kind of goes away. So I realized that if I just get the work done, then like a lot of times I'll have free time after. And then here's a picture from our group of us kind of just getting the work done. This is when someone, I don't know, they told me to like go get some PVC pipes and carry them back to the group. And instead of like talking about it or who was going to do it, we kind of like all the time we just went and we got it done. And then we ended up finishing our system first. And it was like a good quality system, and we had a lot of like free time in the end, right? And then I guess in the picture we were all sanding our system, and another thing, just getting it done, not procrastinating. And I think my group definitely encouraged me to just get my work done. Alright, the next thing is learning how to build. So at the beginning, I knew absolutely nothing about this. Like, I don't even know, I knew nothing. I had never built anything before, and actually I made a pretty huge improvement this whole year. A lot of this was thanks to my own team and my teachers helping me out with learning how to do this. So here's a picture from the very beginning of the year. This is the very first build day we ever had, and I think someone told me to go inside and like grab a box of nails, and I had no idea what to do, so I kind of just walked inside, like, what? And then here's the most recent, one of the most recent build days we have, where here I'm just like, it just kind of shows my improvement of how much I really learned this whole year. The next thing I'm going to talk about is collaboration, and I learned a lot about this during the whole semester. This was a lot about all the partner projects we did, and even with my team Qualimotics, we actually worked really well together, so I'm going to talk about them real quick. Somehow I got this team that it's just like we each have our own thing that we can do really well. Like you have Cody, who's like amazing scientist and super smart, and then Ian, who can build anything, and Dan, he takes video and great pictures and everything. And then I was just kind of like there to be creative for a lot of like the posters that we designed and cooking. I'm the pro chef. And then you have Michael, who's like the team leader. You know, so we all just worked really well together. I think this was kind of a life skill that I learned about collaboration, where if everyone does their own part, you'll get things done faster, and if you don't have to argue about it, then you'll just, you get it done and everything works out really well.
You hear that? What's argue about?
So the next thing is quality. Quality work, which applies to a lot actually. It pretty much applies to everything that I've talked about so far in this presentation, And you want to get things done quick, but you still want to do quality work, and sometimes that's hard, tying back in with procrastination, and you just like want to procrastinate and not get the work done or not put any quality into it, which I've done before. Like I've been procrastinating and do it at the last second and there's no quality there. So I think like my example for this is that at KCC when we had to make our own recipes. This was like kind of a struggle for me because I was put in this position of being the pro chef, but I can't really cook anything. So I wanted it to be like high quality, the food that I made. So I practiced a ton at home. I was like starting to modify all the recipes that they gave us at KCC. So like this was rice pilaf. I modified it a ton. Just like I was changing things up so that and actually putting quality into all the recipes that I made at home. And it came out pretty good in the end. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
Very good. Questions? Comment? Olivia, I liked how you had very specific artifacts and evidence to illustrate what you were trying to say. I mean, it made the presentation much easier for us to understand. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, Matt.
Your group didn't argue at all?
Well, sometimes, but not really, because we have like our leader, Michael, who's like the bossiest person ever. So he's just like, no, you're gonna do it, or you're not gonna be in the group. So that's pretty much why we didn't argue, because Michael always wanted to stop any arguments that we had. So yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hardest part of POL, how do you improve it?
The hardest part was incorporating that superhero thing, because like I was absent like 2 or 3 days last week because I was sick, right? So I just kind of saw the sheet online and I made the whole thing at home, right, without coming into class and talking about it. So I didn't really get that we're supposed to incorporate the superhero somehow into it. And I came to school and someone told me you have to have like this superhero part. And so what I did is I just I made that iMovie in the beginning, just to kind of demonstrate the whole superhero thing. Because I didn't really have it in the presentation, so I tried to incorporate it. So that was the hardest part. Yeah.
Good. Very good.